Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is FAQIH dan FAUTYAZ, and me and FARIDZ we will discuss about comparative linguistics, general notions and structure. Comparative linguistics bases itself on the regularity of sound change, either to classify language or to reconstruct earlier stages. Because sounds develop regularly, it is possible to use well-defined methods to bring them back together regularly. These methods are variants of the normal synchronic methods of establishing sound units. Phonemic and morphonemics analysis, which will later be taken in historical context and remain. First, phonemic analysis. The rise of phonemics as a countermeasure to generally rather inadequate orthographies of most languages. Phoneticians around the turn of the century developed transcription systems intended to be truly phonetic. Such alphabets were supposed to accommodate any speech sound encountered in the physical appearance of any language. And they are still, of course, a must in linguistic analysis, but it was soon realized that one could never reach the ultimate logical goal of one symbol for each sound in the sum total of all known language. One frequent indeterminacy in the area of segmental sounds is one or two phonemes, unit or cluster. In English, chin contrasts with jin, and tin, din, and sin, and shin. Because of patterning and other criteria, many linguists phonemicize these as chin and jin, although C never contrasts with the sequence T sound, and C notation is still quite unambiguous. Initially, it is preceded by stress onset, whereas T and S are separated by one. Here, then, many linguists are happy to remain below the level of strict phonemics, even when this stress onset can be written as a juncture or boundary. And the second method is the comparative method. The comparative method, the central method in comparative linguistics, adds the dimension of using more than one language to what we already know from synchronic methods. Here we need two or more languages, exactly as we need two or more alternating forms. In morphonemic analysis, that is, the comparative method operates on set of correspondences like morphonemic analysis, but unlike morphonemic analysis, which takes the members for its sets from related morphs, the comparative method builds its sets of correspondences out of elements coming from different languages. But like phonemic analysis, the comparative method observes phonetic-phonemic conditioning of variants. The rather definite semantic identifier used in phonemic and morphonemic analysis can be relaxed in the comparative method after some initial success in establishing sound units. But good semantic matching of the forms used is a must in the initial stage of work. The difficulty is that there are no exact rules for handling semantic change. The final factor here is necessarily the common sense and experience of the individual scholar as they contribute to his handling of the possibilities outlined in chapter 7. The comparative method, Swedish, English, German consonants, it is best to introduce that method with languages rather closely related so that complication can be avoided. Let us take some material from the Germanic language Swedish, English, and German, and organize the items so that English is in the middle. This gives us the advantage of showing at a glance the similarity of English either to Scandinavian or to a sister variant of West Germanic, to underline the fact that the exact status of the sound units is irrelevant. We shall start out with standard orthography. This will also preserve the reader's familiarity with most of the forms. Such writing obscures certain things. For example, that the vocalic nuclei of English pipe and German Pfeife, English out and German aus, Swedish bock and German Butch are phonetically the same. We shall, however, be looking at the consonant, and hence we need remember only that German. Okay, everyone, maybe that's all from me, and the materials will continue by FARIDZ FADILLAH. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is FARIDZ FADILLAH, and now I will continue FAQIH's part. The next material of this presentation is internal reconstruction and conclusion to the methods. And let's get to the topic. The first topic that I will explain now is internal reconstruction. Internal reconstruction is already known to the reader as it exactly the same as morphophonemic analysis. Only the emphasis of the two is different. Morphophonemic analysis brushes aside unproductive irregular alternations, whereas internal reconstruction concentrates on them instead. As far as the method itself is concerned, there would be no necessity for further exemplification, but we shall use it once more to retrace one of the most famous cases of its application, the Indo-European laryngeal theory. It is a topic for which students seem to have an unabated interest, and it is indeed illustrative. That's for the internal reconstruction. The next section is conclusion to the methods, or the last material for this presentation. So the methods do not observe an inherent order of application. Rather, the particular state of the language used and the particular task at hand decide what method should be called upon, because of the indeterminacy of the time depth of internal reconstruction compared with the temporal homogeneity given by the comparative method. Their respective results must be labeled differently. So I guess that's all our presentation for these materials from the group 3. Of course, I want to apologize if we did any mistakes on this presentation, and I hope you guys understand. See you in the next occasion maybe. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.